Hello, and welcome to my hero guide and haircut store. It's not quite a barber, because we sell them pre-made. Would you be interested in perhaps a guide on silencer and a nice haircut? Contrary to popular belief, this store is not in space, so just ignore the astronaut uniform. It's just to avoid having to lip sync. And because this is a silencer guide, I thought it would be appropriate to be as quiet and relaxing as possible. Did you know that Silencer's real name, Nortrim, is nearly a palindrome? Fascinating. Now, let me get my trusty scissors. Silencer silences. Funny that, but what's crazy about him is that he's absolutely fine with you not using spells, and he's great when you are using spells. So theoretically, no matter what you're doing, he's countering you. But a lot of things make sense theoretically. Theoretically, your team is supposed to help you win. Theoretically, Divine Rapier Rushes win you the most games according to item win rates. Theoretically, Dota is played to have fun. Funny that. Silence's big counters are heroes who just don't use spells anyway. You know that old quote from Shakespeare? Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then gets global silenced or something. I think that's how it goes. Basically, if we look at the pyramid, we see a really unique class. Carries who buy both Manta and Diffusal Blade. That build is sort of on the rise right now, and it's the best way to ruin even the best silencers. Two reliable ways of purging a silence means that silencer can't wait for one and then ult you, and even with Refresher you have the option of just purging again. Heroes like Naga, Terrorblade, Faceless Void. Basically any carry could go this build. Tier 2 is heroes who have a spell that purges, especially if they purge others. Silence comes out and they find a way to purge themselves, they purge everyone else in the same second. Now it's just a normal team fight that you can't hear. Speaking of hear, Oracle and Abaddon are both really good Lotus Orb carriers, Yule's carriers, and both have 2 purges. Technically, Oracle's purge can hit everyone on your team, but that's getting ahead of ourselves a bit. And Tier 3 is just Lycan, PL, Terrorblade, Broodmother, heroes who just have 1,000 summons who split push, who basically just have no need to worry about being silenced. On the flip side, Silencer has a few unique trump cards. Let's put them all in our nice, happy top triangle. Silencer counters Phoenix because Icarus Dive is actually 2 spells, one to start and one to end, and last wording the Phoenix just makes him fly in a circle, flipping the proverbial bird only to fly back a lot less cocksure. Enigma can actually be bullied into just never leveling up his ult because of how much he won't use it against you. And then the typical ones. Timbersaw, Bristleback, Storm Spirit, Leshrac, Zeus, all of these heroes use their spells for everything. Not letting them is one thing, downright punishing them with Arcane Curse is a whole nother ballpark. Tier 2 are heroes with channeled spells who blink in and then hope they kill the target before they kill them. CM, Sand King, Earthshaker, and Tier 3 is just Skywrath, but mostly just because I hate his voice lines. There are 3 parts to every Wombo combo lineup: the Initiator, the Damage, and the Assurance. Heroes that fill all 3 roles are Faceless Void and Enigma. Silencer excels in the Assurance aspect, so pair him up with a Timbersaw for damage or the Earthshaker for the initiation. The ability build used to be a bit of a stickler, but nowadays this build is pretty much standard. Silencer has an innate ability in Int Steal. You don't need to level anything to be able to steal Int from all of your kills. Int Steal works if Silencer gets a kill, no matter the distance, or if he is in 925 range of an enemy who dies to someone else, as long as you're alive. And no, you can't steal Int from someone with just 1 Int left. That'd be cruel anyway. Arcane Curse works on creeps. Finally, and the farm-starved Silencer players rejoiced. Basically, it does 228 damage, but adds another 4 seconds and 152 damage every single time a spell is used. The only spells that don't activate it are sub-abilities like Return Chakram and all that. If the hero is silenced, Arcane Curse pauses and resumes when they're unsilenced. We max this because it's our only traditional crowd control. It slows. Glaives of Wisdom gets 1 value point just to get the ability to Orb Walk. Last Word applies before the spell's even cast. You get punished for using the spell before you've used the spell. That seems fair. It's only damage and a 4-second late silence, so we don't really prioritize it. And global silence, the make or break spell. First off, the game gives no guidelines on when to use it. There's no prior positioning or setup required. You can use it at any time. And that is exactly why it's the most daunting spell in the game. Because you just have to know, You just have to believe that holding it's the right decision, that casting it right now is the right decision, that waiting for this guy to blink in and ulting him before he can combo is the right decision. And considering there's 1,000 ways for you to fuck this up, you might want to make sure Global silence pierces BKBs that were activated before it, but is purged by BKBs afterwards. Yet another thing to panic about when casting it. Silencer players are so stressed constantly in a game that I could totally imagine they have less hair on average than the average player. But the coolest aspect, from a spectator's perspective, is that global silence mutes all other sounds. I bet you wish you could use it right now. Yet again, it's the classic case of a hero with so much of one thing that he lacks all the others. 3D2M. Damage, durability, disables, mobility, and mana. Silencer has a lot of damage and nearly too much silence. In this sort of equation, mobility and disables can sort of compensate for each other. Constant hasted movement speed means that you don't really need stuns and slows. A 20-second disable means you don't even need to move. So let's see what we do. Start off with a nice handful of tangos and pick up a null talisman to make you a smart little smacker. I don't even know what that means. I've never used that term or heard it ever. Amazingly, the boots of choice don't require a standalone DLC to explain it all. Get treads, they give attack speed. We like attack speed. I used to go phase just because silence is painfully slow, but now we can just get a windlace and be fine with chasing and always have a TP or two to get in range for that insta. We pick up one item to fill durability, mobility, and mana, and with damage and disables already filled innately, we're the perfect specimen. Other heroes will look at us in awe. Look at those rugged abs, that flowing skirt, that clearly fashionable cone hat thing, and that item is Hurricane Pike. 4-staff was awesome. Then Dragon Lance was added, and that was awesome. The fact that they can go together and fill one item slot is just icing. Now, I'm assuming anyone using this build is clearly beyond godlike at this stage. With 100 int stolen, just investing in a casual Voidstone can entirely fix any mana problems you might have, and you can always just put this into a scythe later. And finally, there's Silver Edge. 2 mobility items, one to get in and one to get out. Usually you'd be using it for the former to get the active. You do a bit of damage, and wait a sec. Isn't this just a bastardized version of Slash's weapon? Whoa. Silencer's entire kit is a case-by-case basis, doubly so is his item build. Atos is good in most cases, Scythe's good for heroes with BKBs and escapes, Shiva's is good for illusions and a bunch of summons, Bloodthorn's great for butterfly carriers, Scardy's a jack of all trades, and Ag's Refresher is just good if you want some peace and quiet. I hope you enjoyed this happy little guide. Silence is fun. He's a treat though. Like Rubik, I don't think you're really going to have much success first picking him every game. I'm convinced that people who do that are just addicted to the thought of screenshotting themselves in a game with 200 int stolen. If my calculations are right, you fell asleep 5 minutes ago and are learning all of this through osmosis. Did you know there are people who believe you can learn from a book by sleeping on it? That's where the term sleep on it came from. Back in the day, illiteracy was a massive problem and people would consult the Bible before making big decisions like planting a garden or killing a man. They wouldn't read it because they wouldn't be able to read it, so they would put it under their pillow and God would come to them in their dreams through it and give them advice. And that's where it comes from.
What the hell was that? That was truly frightening stuff. I warned you. This episode was brought to you by these pledges. Chris 1996, Brandon Koo, Christian Redder, Free Kill, Matt Masters, Max Gallagher, Pearson Mewborn, Mr. Revolute, Psych Out 40, Definitely Not BSJ, Orslavic, James Evans, Nico the Commie, Jeff Miller, Kaiser Wilhelm, Michael Robb, Shadow Sweetheart, and a man so vile, so evil, I dare not speak his name out loud, so I'll whisper it. Evil motherfucking jellyfish. Aaron Tang, Jacob Miller, Russell Talbot, Frosty Knee, Usable Lobster, I'm a Sheep Fucker, Caduceus, Anthony Silverstone, Itai Efrat, Noble Chernobyl, Sam Goodberry, Magic Green Justice, Mason Lee Mills, Max of S2D, Red, It's Ya Boy, Kerrison, Parker Bukowski, Redolus, Epica X Edge, hashtag Yowie is Life, Meme Arrow Mental Support, Snuggly Wuggums, Kevin Lorenz, Lord Herbert Ninny Bottoms, Malacot Chestnut, Yabas McGee, Tsunami Shadow Wing, Martin Thoreau, John Boone, and Rhett Mitchell.